Sometimes, wars aren't just fought on the ground, they're written in the skies. In 1942, World War II was raging across Europe. The German air defenses were fierce, the skies over France and Germany were a deadly maze of flak and fire. To fight back, America sent its mighty B17 Flying Fortress bombers deep into enemy territory. Among those giants was one aircraft that would become a legend, the Memphis Belle. It wasn't just a plane. It was the beating heart of 10 young men who knew that every takeoff could be their last. At the controls stood Captain Robert Morgan, a brave and determined pilot who promised himself that he'd bring his crew home alive. Alongside him were his brothers-in-arms James Varenus, Winfield Jones, Charles Levittow, John Quinlan, and others, each man a specialist, but all bound by one fear. Will we live to see tomorrow? They laughed together, fought together, and prayed together, a family forged in the clouds. Morgan named the aircraft after his sweetheart back home in Tennessee, Margaret Polk, from Memphis. He called her the Memphis Belle. On its nose was painted a beautiful pin-up girl, the iconic nose art that would go down in history as a symbol of hope and bravery. Every mission pushed them closer to hell. The Luftwaffe was waiting for them in the skies, deadly German fighters swarming like hawks. The Belle faced flak bursts so close they shook the entire aircraft. Engines were hit, glass shattered, wings caught fire. Yet somehow, the crew always made it back. Each return was a miracle: oil-stained uniforms, faces covered in soot, but hearts filled with pride. For every bomber that fell from the sky, the Memphis Belle kept flying as if destiny itself protected her. May 17th, 1943. At the Bovingdon Air Base in England, dawn broke through a gray sky. The men of the Memphis Belle were ordered to fly their 25th mission, their final one. The target, the heavily defended city of Lorient, France. If they made it back, they'd finally be going home. But everyone knew this might be their last flight. As they took off, anti-aircraft guns roared, black smoke filled the sky, and German fighters attacked in waves. The Belle shook violently, holes ripped through her body, but Captain Morgan held the controls steady. They dropped their bombs, turned for home, and through sheer willpower and luck, limped back to base. Damaged, bleeding, but alive. Against all odds, the Memphis Belle became the first B-17 bomber to survive 25 missions. When the crew landed, the airfield erupted in cheers. They had done what no one else had, and the world took notice. The Memphis Belle and her crew were brought back to America for a nationwide tour. They were celebrated as heroes, symbols of courage and endurance. But behind the smiles were the ghosts of the skies, the faces of friends who never came home. Fame couldn't wash away the memories of the bombers that fell and the men they lost. The war ended, but the Memphis Belle became a living legend. She was preserved, restored, and now rests proudly at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. Her scars are still visible, each dent and bullet hole telling a story of survival. She isn't just made of steel and rivets, she's made of sacrifice, hope, and the undying spirit of those who refuse to give up. The story of the Memphis Belle reminds us that bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to rise above it. Those young men didn't just fight a war, they defined what it means to endure, to believe, and to come home against all odds. They didn't just fly missions, they carried the heart of a nation on their wings. If this true story moved you, then take a second to subscribe to Heroes of America, because we keep the legacy of real heroes alive, one story at a time.